I think this is where it really gets interesting. So, Case, let's go to you for number 4 in the Central.
Well, you know what? I have two teams that I am flip-flop on at number 4. So I'm actually going to reverse Uno card this and send it back to, let's hear Chad, if you can convince me of one team being higher than the other.
Sure. So I mentioned that my team that I'm putting in 4th spot is in a tier of its own in terms of, and what I'm calling the tier is playoff hopeful, as opposed to the 3 teams in the tier below that I'm calling playoff bubble teams. So the number 4 spot, I have the Winnipeg Jets. Even though they've lost players like Wheeler and Pierre-Luc Dubois up front, I think their forward group is about the same. I don't think they're going to lose a ton of goals. You know, adding players like Iafallo, Velarde, and Kupari from the PLD trade, I think is going to be beneficial for them and might be able to spread out their offense a little bit more amongst their top 9 forward group. I think that's going to be great. A guy like Nino Niederreiter they'll have for the entire season, and they'll have another full year of Cole Perfetti, who is just getting older and better, and hopefully he can contribute a bit more offensively. So I think their top 9 is still really, really good, even after losing 2 key pieces up front. You know, they still have Ehlers, and they still have Scheifele, and they still have Connor. So it's not, I think, that big of a deal losing those 2 players. So I really like their offense. In terms of defense, I think they have a solid top 5, really. I mean, they don't have a lot of high-end scoring from their back end outside of a guy like Morrissey, but just reading through the names, guys like Pionk, Schmidt, Dillon, and DeMello, I think are all, you know, slot them in wherever you'd like, but 2 to 4 guys on most teams in the league. And that's their top 5 right there, consisting of those 5 players. And then, you know, the 6th guy isn't going to make or break your season. So I don't think that's that big of a deal. And then going to your goaltender, you know, as long as Connor Hellebuyck stays healthy, he hasn't had a bad season in the last decade. Like, he is one of the best goaltenders in the NHL year over year. You know, whether it's surface level stats or advanced stats, he is the guy who continues to put up incredible numbers, and he plays more than anyone else as well. Over the last, I believe it's 5 years, Hellebuyck has played the most games among any goalie in the regular season, including a guy like Andrei Vasilevsky, and it's not even close. So I think all of that combined just pointed me towards Winnipeg being this bubble playoff team. Sorry, I shouldn't say bubble playoff team, playoff hopeful, because they should make the playoffs with this lineup that they have. But, you know, given the fact that the Pacific is extremely competitive, it's going to be tough. But yeah, that's why I have Winnipeg at number 4. Thoughts on that, Casey?
Yeah, okay. I can feel good about my, you know, how I had the rankings going into this. I did have Winnipeg in this spot. I just don't know what to think of this team at all. Like, is Scheifele still getting traded? Is Hellebuyck still getting traded? That's still up in the air. So, you know, that is going to completely change my outlook of this team. And they're just always so mediocre despite being so good on paper. So I never know where to put this team. I think I say that every single year. Like, you could put the clips back to back for me saying, I don't know, they could be good and they could be bad. They did lose 2 of their top 5 scorers last year, so they're gonna need Velarde and Perfetti to step up big time. They're gonna need Ehlers to stay healthy. You said they have Nikolai Ehlers. It's like, do they? I feel like he hasn't played more than 50 games in the last 6 years, so they really need him to stick around. And then that top line is scary good, but I do like the ads. I think that Iafallo is one of those guys who's, you know, competent in the back end, as well as can put the puck in the net, same as Velarde and Kupari. You know, there's a lot of potential there still. So we'll see what this can be. I like the top 9 when I look at the team outright, and the decor is always, it's steady. It's the same guys. You know, those 5 guys you mentioned are the same guys for the last 5 years. So I like it. And then, yeah, goaltending. Hellebuck's going to steal games for you. They brought in a good backup in Brossoit, you know, familiar face, as well as he had a good season last year. Really stepped up for Vegas in the wee hours of the season. So I do like the team. I really don't know where they're going to end up, but I'm totally willing to have them at 4.
Yeah, the Winnipeg Jets and the Calgary Flames, I think, are kind of in the same spot. We don't really know what to expect from both of these clubs, but Winnipeg had a much needed shakeup to the roster this summer. I think, especially parting ways with a guy like Blake Wheeler. I think that was huge. It was high time that needed to happen. Who knows what happens with Mark Scheifele? But we'll wait and see. And it's not a guarantee that Hellebuyck is as good as gone. This team, I do see them being competitive. Personally, I have them in the 5 spot, but They will be competitive once again. That forward group doesn't look too bad at all, and I just don't know what to expect. But certainly a little more optimism and not as much noise around the Jets now after this offseason, and they're not doubling down once again on the same group. They have shaken it up a little bit. So, but personally, I had them in the number 5 spot, so I can get to the team that I had at the number 4 spot if you guys
let's hear it.